What's up, guys? Daniel here with the Something Media, and as you may notice, I'm not in the usual studio as you per se, and I'm not with my usual coworkers, but we have a special guest nonetheless. I'll go ahead and let him introduce himself.
Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Dave Betancourt, and then I have a store called The Origin Store. It's a lot of curated Japanese brands, from Capital to Ready Made to Mason Mahara Yashiro, to other brands like Denim Tears and St. Michael's and stuff like that, and then a few other little random brands like maybe RRR 123 and other little brands like that kind of sprinkled in as well.
Nice. First and foremost, I just want to say thank you for letting me come into your home
I appreciate it, man.
and shoot this podcast. Really nice setup.
Thank you.
From bottom to top. Real nice setup. Art everywhere.
Thanks.
It's really nice. So
Thank you.
It's better than the studio that we're at, actually.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
So if you want to rent out your spot for podcasts, I think that we can set a price up. But like I was mentioning to you and your friends, like the whole reason for the podcast, again, I know I say this, I sound like a broken record. It's about showcasing people in the city that are continuously killing it, or I noticed that they're doing something cool that I haven't seen done before.
Yeah.
And I just want to showcase it because you have your own network, right?
Yeah.
I would want to expand your network.
No, for
Because
sure.
like one of your friends was saying, it's all about community.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I know there's like-minded individuals that are into the streetwear, even fashion, higher fashion, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'd want them to know that like, hey, there's this guy in the city that has this products in his home, and like he's selling it like out of the crib.
Yeah.
Because the stuff that you have in your closet, like that's stuff that I only see like on Grailed, on like Yahoo Japan, or like and like worn by celebrities. Never locally. I'm not gonna see it at a Nordstrom usually, right? Saks, nothing like that. So it's really cool to see these products up and close and know someone's selling it. So I do want to ask you, like, where did your love for fashion start?
I'd really say for me, like initially, probably really from my dad. My dad, honestly enough, is like a very fashionable guy. He from like an early age always had me in like dope shoes, like 95s to Forces to all different kinds of stuff that he was into. And then from there, just like my own like friends and just like the community that I was in. Like I was telling you earlier, like my friend John who owns a store, Human Dior. I got friends like Emmanuel that own the store Hideaway. Got other friends that are behind me here, Josh and Clayton. They've done stuff for different brands and their own brands, and just like, how can I say, like just my own friend groups. It just kind of piques my curiosity with like certain little brands and stuff like that. And then I will say for me, it's always like, and I think most people are kind of like this, and I could be wrong. I think when you're like looking at a new brand, you're like, I don't know if I could wear that, and like one of your friends wears it, you're like, oh, I could wear it now. Yeah, they pulled it off. Like I got this now. Like I'm totally good with it. I'd say one of those main people for me is like my boy John. He always wore like crazy Capital stuff and stuff way before I really saw anybody wearing stuff like that in the city. And for me, that was like, okay, I can get with this.
Yeah.
Like, it's out there, but not so out there.
Okay.
And then now it's become, I feel like, a little bit more of the norm, where you have like your NFL players, your NBA players, other celebrities, and just other people kind of catching on to brands like Capital and St. Michael, and just like those other brands. And I really see them just starting to circulate like more and more now.
You see them more often now?
Yeah, I feel like it was kind of like how like streetwear brands, like you had like 10 Deep, and you had
Babe and Supreme that had their time.
You had all stuff. Yeah, I mean, you had even older brands than that, like Benny Gold and Acapulco Gold, and just all kind of like random
the Karmaloop brands.
Karmaloop era. The Karmaloop brands, from like LRG to all kind of stuff. Like I feel like a lot of us kind of grew up with that, and like those, like Diamond Supply, all those brands, and some of those brands are obviously still around today, which is cool to see. But they've kind of died down as far as like, I feel like what people would consider is like the real trendy, like fashionable stuff now, and that's what I feel
trends come and go, and like the brands that are popping will always change.
Exactly. So I feel like it's cool now to see like people really stepping into like Japanese streetwear and just Japanese design in general, as far as like different designers and stuff like that. Because that's always something that I've been interested in for like several years now. So like now everybody's kind of catching up to it. So I think that was like kind of another inspiration for the store. Just me already buying a lot of that kind of stuff, and then
it just made sense.
Yeah, and then I used to do like on Instagram this thing called "What's in the Box," and then like it'd be me just opening packages of whatever it might have been, and just kind of interacting with people. And I could tell people really like that engagement, and really like just like seeing like new stuff, and just seeing like stuff that they didn't see all the time, and just like, well, what does he got? And then from that, it kind of just was like, all right, I'm spending a lot of money on clothes that I don't wear because I work way too much. Like, how can I maybe make this profitable. And then I sold like a few things here and there, and then I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I can kind of make some money off of this.
Yeah.
Like
So it caught traction. You're okay, it just makes sense to.
Yeah, it just makes sense to do this, because I started doing like simple things like anybody would, maybe like a story sell on Instagram or something like that. And I mean, like, okay, people, like, this is starting to take traction. Like, people are asking me, like, when are you gonna do another story sell? When are you gonna have like those Japanese brands that like you're always posting?
People
like,
were asking.
Yeah, like people are already asking me, like, do you have any like personal stuff that you'll sell? And it's funny, even when guys come and shop at the store now. Like Jalen Rieger, he came and shopped at the store yesterday, and he was asking me, like, what do you have like downstairs that you don't that like of you or something like that. And I've had guys come and shop or whatever, and then ask me personally, like, what do you got in your closet? Because they've seen me wear stuff, or like seen me maybe post something, and like,
it may not be for sale.
Yeah,
right?
And it's like, but you know, everything's for self is the right price.
For the right price.
For the right price.
Now, you did mention something that caught my attention, because you said that your dad was a fashionable person, and he initially was like the one who put you on.
Yeah.
And like, you don't hear that a lot in the male community. Like someone else put you on. You never want to admit that someone put you on, but like, and it's never your dad. But like, surprisingly, in your scenario and like other people that I've spoken with, like, they say my dad put me on, and I remember because my dad was kind of fashionable too, and he would always put me on. He wasn't lacking. Like,
No, my dad's never lacking. From the jewelry to like the clothes, and like very, very hip and very trendy for whatever the time is, whatever's in fashion. Like, he was definitely in fashion with the stuff that was going on, whether it's bell-bottom pants to bigger pants, to slim fit pants, to whatever it was. And he was like, when he was younger, he was in pretty decent shape.
Yeah.
And so
shout out to the dads
out
there.
Shout out to
my
the
dad's
dads.
Almost 50, and I caught him buying a pair of Air Forces.
It
looks funny though, because he's like a grown man with a pair of Forces. I'm like, okay, but like,
no, but it's cool though, and I like that more than anything, that people, how can I say, are comfortable enough to be like, no, I like it. I know I'm an older guy, but I like to be fashionable. I like to be up to what's going on. Like, my dad, like, he will buy and like wear stuff. How can I say that that people might think like, why would this old man have this? You know what I mean? But you know, if he likes it, he just like,
it's
I
like
like it.
in your DNA. Because like, fashion's always gonna be like, it's not like a trend. It's
exactly.
Like, I didn't dress well only in my 20s. Like, it's gonna be forever type thing.
You dress well forever, and then like my dad will tell me, like, if I do look good or if I do look bad, he'll be like, oh, that fit was fly, or like, I don't know about those
what
pants.
Are you wearing?
Or like, I don't know about that ensemble. Like, I don't know what you're wearing.
Does he ask about trends, like what's going on?
Yeah, he'll ask me sometimes, like, yo, like, what's kind of trendy right now, or like, what are people wearing, or you know, stuff like that. Or he'll see me wear like these like Story MFG pants that I have on that are like kind of large and kind of oversized, and he'll ask me like, are people wearing pants like that again now? He's like, I remember when people used to wear like big parachute type of pants, because like you said, it's like, fashion is very much like in cycles, and it like renews.
Trends always come back.
Yeah, it just come and go, and it's just like a slight variation that someone puts on it, and then it's like, oh, it's this brand new thing, and it's like, it's not really a brand new thing. It's
like, they may see the Jinko jeans when they were growing up, but like, it's like, that's like the Balenciaga Ray pants, all right? Like,
exactly.
The same
you have
thing,
like big pants just from everybody now, and I feel like that's like a trend, and I feel like if anything, it might be going away now. Like, I feel like big pants might be slowly dwindling again, but who knows? I don't know.
Skinny jeans making a comeback?
I don't know. It might be.
if skinny jeans, what do you think it'll take for skinny jeans to make a comeback?
Just time. Honestly, just time. I think it will come back. And then, if we're being honest, I don't think some people stop wearing skinny jeans.
No, some people have not stopped wearing skinny jeans.
Some people definitely didn't stop wearing skinny jeans, which is totally cool. I feel like you should be comfortable with whatever your style is. Like, some people like have a very like, this is my style. Like, no matter if it's, you know, 2023 or if it's 2053, this is like the type of clothes that I like to wear. Very fitted clothes, or very baggy clothes, or like, I just don't care what I'm wearing. I just kind of have like a whatever look, or like,
okay,
hey, I like dressing to the nines like every time. So I feel like some people, it just kind of depends. Like, what do you like and kind of what you're into. But I think in general, like, as far as the trends, I think just with time, enough time passes, the trends will come back. And like I said, maybe like a slight variation, but then it'll pretty much be something that you've seen before.
What's a trend right now that you don't like, and a trend that you do like?
Ooh, a trend I don't like. That's a tough one. I'll start with maybe a trend that I do like. I do like big pants. I won't lie. I love big pants. I love being comfortable. Yeah. Like, that's like my main thing with clothes now. It's like, is it comfortable? Because if it's not comfortable, I really don't want to wear it. Like, if I'm wearing clothes and I put it on and it's too tight or it just fits weird, I don't want it. I want something kind of like loose fitting.
And it's a learning experience. Because like, you'll try something new and you're like, you know what? I wasn't really comfortable in this. I wouldn't do this again. You sell that item and then you just kind of revert to back what you like. But like, I think the big pants, like, that's a good one. The cargos, like, when they over the shoe look, like, it looks real clean. Trend you don't like, though.
Trend I don't like.
I know it may be a little bit of controversial because someone may be watching this and be like, what the heck?
I'm trying to think. A trend that I don't like. I won't lie. I'm not like too much of a hater, so I would say like what most people do, I'm cool with.
We see a lot of crochet
you know what thing that I don't like, and I guess like I've seen brands like Balenciaga do this, is like that whole gimp look, like the whole like where you're looking like you might be like a sex worker, like how like even like latex. You saw like even like Offset had an outfit on yesterday that was Rick Owens, like when he went to the Rick, or maybe it was the day before when he went to the Rick Owens fashion show, and it's full zip to the top leather.
He definitely was fully zipped.
Yeah, fully zipped to the top leather. Like definitely not my style.
Imagine being fully zipped in this weather.
Yeah, it's
just 109.
I don't know if you ever seen like Dodgeball. That's like immediately what I thought of when I saw that, when they were supposed to have like their regular uniforms and they had like the weird plastic leathery So just like very much like that I can personally not ever get with. That's something that I would.
Balenciaga has a lot of that stuff like that. I feel like it's like teetering.
I'm not even a Balenciaga fan. One, just a lot of the satanic
controversial
stuff. Which I'm not with. And then I've never, even before that, never really been a huge Balenciaga person. But again, whatever you want to do, that's your own thing. But I'm not a supporter. I'm not a fan.
What are some brands that you really like, other than the ones that you have upstairs, like in your own portfolio?
Other brands that I really like. I like Story MFG, the pants that I have on. I really like these pants. A lot of people I feel like got hip to this brand when Kyrie Irving first got traded to the Mavericks, and he was wearing like that crochet bucket hat. Yeah. That was a Story MFG bucket hat that he was wearing. That's a brand that I really like and enjoy a lot. What's another brand that I like a lot? I mean, to be honest, I like a lot of Japanese brands, so it's hard for me not to pick another Japanese brand.
Pick some of the ones that, even if they're, I mean, they're
I
in
would
your
say
wardrobe.
My favorite brand is St. Michael's. Like in general, like that's like my favorite brand. I remember when I first saw St. Michael's, I like instantly like fell in love. It's odd or weird as that may sound. I just already like enjoyed brands like Ready Made and stuff like that these other guys were already doing. And Ready Made is definitely pricey. And not that St. Michael's is not pricey, but it's a little less pricey.
Yeah.
And then outside of that, Capital. I mean, like it's just one of those brands. It's like, I feel like it's like Ralph Lauren of Japan. It's like one of those brands that I feel like no matter like whether Americans like it or not, it's always going to be around.
Well, it's their take on Americana,
right?
Yeah,
exactly. So I feel like it's always going to be around, and I feel like it's a brand that's never really going to die off. It might die off in popularity a little bit, but I feel like the people that really wear it, like Chrome, like I feel like people kind of have this thing with Chrome, and I have a hat on now, and I just like trucker hats, if I'm just being honest. But I feel like some people kind of have that like thing with Chrome, like, oh, I
but
do
Chrome's
like
been
it.
out for like years.
Exactly. And that's the thing, like people act like it's just come around. And I'm like, bro, it's been out for so long. It's just rappers eventually started wearing it, and then people got kind of annoyed with that. And then, but I feel like again, like you're gonna have your huge Chrome supporters that buy like the crazy Chrome pieces that you can never buy.
The
like,
plunger.
Yeah, or just like crazy like stuff that you get custom made in the store, and stuff like that. That's like literally a one of one that like literally no one else has. And so I don't know. It's just one of those things where I feel like it's a brand that'll always pretty much be around unless it just, for whatever reason, decided to kind of go away.
St. Michael is really hard. I like the imagery that they do, the references that they do, like the Sonic Youth one.
Yeah.
Or like even their tags, like it's a play on the giant tag.
Like literally, if you look at every St. Michael's tee, I don't think I've come across a St. Michael's tee that's not a reference tee. Like every tee has a reference, and
it's like vintage classics that they're already done, and then they do it in a vintage look.
Yeah, and that's what I like about it, because I do like vintage clothes, but I'm not a huge vintage buyer, if I'm being honest. Which is funny because a lot of the brands that I carry are very much vintage inspired. But for me, how can I say, I can't justify sometimes, and it sounds weird that I would justify it then for a brand new shirt, but maybe for like an old shirt, I'm like, I can't pay $300 for this old shirt that I don't know who wore this before. But $300 for a new shirt, maybe, yeah, sure.
In a vintage style.
Yeah, in a vintage style. I don't know. It's just something about dirty used clothes, and I know you can wash it. I'm not saying that you can't wash vintage clothes, and I totally get that. And I would suggest washing your vintage clothes before wearing it. But I don't know. It's just, how can I say? It's not really my thing, and I'm not gonna act like it is. And make it seem like, I love vintage clothes when it's cool.
Because there's a lot of brands that do that vintage look really well. Like St. Michael's like really killing it. Like I went through like several websites looking at their stuff and seeing it in person right now. Super hard.
Yeah,
super hard.
For sure.
Definitely got a couple piece, and I like the long sleeve. I see you have the Union collab up there. Yeah. And I've seen they did the take on the Kurt Cobain, the R.I.P. tee, the white, and it's like the Virgin Mary instead. Yeah. That's super hard.
That's super dope. Now they got a lot of dope ones. They even have one that's like literally another version of that Kurt Cobain one, and it's Jesus on it instead of. It was like one of the very, very first ones. I had it, but a friend of mine, Cam, shout out to Cam, he bought that shirt. So
the Public Enemy, and it says Demon Slayer. Yeah. Like that. Those tags are just crazy.
Yeah,
like
cool.
I'm gonna like pop the pictures up of what the items look like because they're like so well done. Back to Origin Store. I wanted to ask, anything coming up?
Yeah, we got a pop-up coming up. It'll be most likely towards the end of July, hopefully shooting for like the third week of July, so like the 22nd or the 23rd of July. We'll definitely keep everybody updated. Actually, my buddy behind me, Josh, he has a brand called Not Equal To. Check them out. He's going to actually be doing the pop-up with me, so it's going to be a co-event with him and I. So he'll have his brand. So he'll have a few different designs that he's been working on as far as T-shirts. I believe he's going to have some hats. He has these crazy bags that he's done, and I'm literally not hyping him up because he's my friend. I'm hyping it up because it's actually good.
I saw the product.
Yeah.
I saw the bag.
The bag is crazy,
super hard.
and I don't know if you got to see it turn into a vest, but the bag is a bag that you can carry, but it's also a bag that turns into a vest. Super crazy, just something different, just something very unique, which I appreciate about a lot of my friends. They're always, I feel like I'm very lucky to have the friends that I have. I feel like they very much inspire like a lot of things that I do, and they, like we talked about earlier, like the ecosystem. So like for instance, like my friend John, when someone maybe is coming to his store maybe to look for MMYs or something like that, and they don't have it, or they maybe don't have the certain item that they're looking for, he'll call me or he'll text me and say, hey, I got this person, or shoot me an IG. Same thing with Hideaway. My friend Emmanuel, he'll be like, hey, you know, this guy or whatever is kind of looking for these pieces or something like that or whatever. So like shout out to those guys, shout out to Hideaway, and shout out to Human Dior. Much love to y'all. And yeah, it's just the community that we're in. I feel there's a lot of like-minded individuals, so it just makes sense. Like, if I don't have what a person needs, why would I not keep it in the ecosystem of my friends to be like, hey, I don't have it, but I got a buddy that might have what you're looking for. And if they don't, I got another buddy that might have it. And if not, I got another buddy. You know, we try to keep it here because eventually, you know, someone's going to spend those dollars with someone. I'd rather keep it within the family. Yeah.
Literally exactly. Friends putting friends on. Like, that's
exactly.
Like, it's all about community. Like we were talking about earlier, like it's really about putting people on. And I think it resonates with me because the way that you explained it to me, like you have those friendships, like is the way how Up to Something works. Yeah. Like it's a media-based company, but like really it's all about networking and putting the city together. Because I wasn't aware of Origin Store at one point, but like you said, like it caught someone's attention, right? And they wanted more. So I was like, I was seeing this stuff in Dallas. I'm like, it piqued my interest. So like there's someone out there that doesn't know. And it could be a potential customer.
No, for sure. And like the craziest thing is like one of the biggest clients that I work with is my boy Nate, Style by Nate. He has a store called the Heights District. So again, like I'm plugging all these people, but they're like all incredible people, and they all have incredible things that they do, incredible stores. And he works with a lot of NBA and NFL clients, and I've met so many like great, like the guys are just great. The like from Jalen Rieger to Cameron Johnson to met Trey Tomlinson the other day. Who else I'm missing? Oh, man.
This is your time to flex. So
yeah,
make the list.
I feel like I'm missing other guys, but anyway. But how can I say? He's just helped like me meet these guys, and then anytime these guys are looking for stuff, I mean,
build those
he brings
connections.
them through. Yeah, and we're building those connections, and we're like earlier, like you saw, like for instance earlier, like he has a buddy that it's just his birthday, and he came through and showed love, and he was buying some stuff for his buddy for his birthday. I saw
like a live transaction, which was really cool.
Yeah, and that was totally not planned. That just happened to pop up. Like it's like my homie hit me up, and that's a lot how it happens. Like as far as like the personal shopping stuff, I don't really advertise that. Because I try to keep it kind of like small and niche, just for like the people that I kind of really just trust and know and can kind of work with. So Nate is definitely one of those people, and he just brings like I said, just a lot of clients through, and we've done I can't even count how many transactions of stuff that we do. And that's probably honestly the main reason why I don't have product to post half the time, is because my boy Nate, he comes through every time. I'll text him some pictures, let him know what's up, and yeah, we get it together, and it's gone before I could ever even post it.
Literally flying off the shelves.
So right now, Nate, I'm hiding some stuff from you. Don't be mad, bro. When you see this later on the podcast, it's for the pop up, but I'm gonna let you know. Don't worry. But I definitely got stuff like I said, I literally got like hide stuff. So then we go to the pop up. So I got some crazy like the ready-made Denim Tears collab stuff that's like literally insane. Like every piece is a one-of-one piece.
You were talking about that. You got the rhinestone coming in.
Yeah, like rhinestone Denim Tears coming in. More MMY sneakers coming in. More capital, like the gem shorts, the bone denim shorts that everybody loves. Got black and blue coming in.
Need those.
Got the gem pants, both blue and black. Like
studded on the side, right?
Yeah, that's the ones that are studded on the side. Smiley face capital pants. You got
the bone sweater up there too.
Bone sweater. Another capital, like just lots of stuff. Capital truckers, all kind of stuff. And then I definitely will have like a rack of just like random like miscellaneous personal items that I'm gonna have that are just like I got like some crazy like Christian Dior, like Dries Van Noten era like denims, and just really random, eclectic things that I'm just like, I'm never going to wear. So those will be available at the pop-up as well.
What's a brand that you haven't got the chance to get your hands on, but you want to sell?
Man, that's a good one. I wouldn't say it's a brand that I haven't been able to get as much of it is the RR123. There's not that many retailers of it. And I always, like, one thing that I always try to shoot for with the origin store is I'm really trying to keep the price point as close to really what the original retail is. I'm really not trying to hit people over the head. Like, obviously I do got to make money. We're in a business, you know, so I do got to make some money, but at the same time, like, I'm literally keeping the profit margins like very small, with the idea of the faster I can get rid of something, the faster I can get something new, the faster the money keeps moving, the faster that everything, the circle keeps going. Because I feel like no one likes to go to a store and see the same stuff over and over again.
That's one thing.
You're like, I've seen this 10,000 times. I don't really want this. Like, where's the new stuff? But as a store owner, I feel like sometimes they get caught up in like, well, I'm going to keep it because I've already spent this so much money, and then I'm going to keep it at this price because this is the amount of money, X amount of dollars that I'm trying to make. I'm like, rather than make like $200 on something, I'd be cool with making $50 to $75 on something if I know I can get it gone quick.
Just to make more room for another product. Just to make more room
for stuff, and then to get more product. Because my whole thing is, the more product that I sell, the more likely someone's to come back, the more likely someone's to go like, man, I always shop with this guy because he's always got new stuff and he always got different stuff. So that's like the way and the approach that I try to keep it with is like, I'm not going to hit people over the head. And I honestly look a lot of time at the market, and I literally will mark my stuff like, all right, so let's say like denim tiers pants. Like, I feel like denim tiers jeans, a lot of people sell them for like $500, $600. Most of my denim tier pants, unless it's like the jewel pants or like the regular ones, are like $420, $450 maybe at the most. If it was like the B Short collab one. And then like the jewel pants, I've seen people sell those for like crazy amounts, like $900, $1,000. I do like $850, something like that. Just kind of depending on what I can actually.
What are you using to like look at the market and kind of base your prices off?
Whether it might be StockX, it might be Grailed, it could be Depop, it could be eBay. I look at all those platforms, and then just honestly, even people just like posting stuff and things like that, and then even things like like-minded people in my community that are selling things, so that it just makes sense. Because like again, it doesn't make sense if like I have a Capital shirt that's $300, and then you can go to my guy over here and he got it for $200. It's like, well, I'm gonna try to price it if I can competitively, yeah, because then it's like, why are you overcharging like crazy amount of money? And again, my whole thought process is like, if I get it gone and I can make the money that I need to make my money back, make a little bit of money, then I can reinvest that money. And that's what I try to do every time I make some sales. My fiance is always making fun of me because I'll be like literally sitting on there on the couch and like looking at my phone till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And I'm just buying stuff, looking at stuff I have, thinking about sizes that people buy, and just that's like a very important thing that I've learned too. Is just
very
like,
consumer based. Your research.
Yeah, because my whole thing is like, you really have to know your clientele base. So like, I know my clientele, like a lot of people that want MMY, they want 44s and 45s. So that's what a lot of the sizes that I'm looking for. But like for the pop up, I know I'm gonna have other people that are gonna want 42s
more
and
variety
43s
of
and
sizes.
40s. So that's what I've been getting more of those smaller sizes. Because a lot of the people that have been coming through more recently, like I said, are like NFL and NBA players. So they got bigger feet, bigger bodies. So I've been buying like 34s, 36s, 38s. Like I've been, a guy was asking me earlier. Yeah, a guy was asking me earlier for size 40 in pants. So like that's already one thing I've already know. And the one thing I was already looking at, which is crazy, thinking to myself, someone will buy some denim tiers pants if they're a size 40 if it's a big guy. But I just didn't know anybody. But now that I'm like thinking like, oh, my boy Nate and my boy Fresh, that's another guy. I'm not sure if you familiar with him. His name is Freshenstein. On Instagram, his name is Fresh.
He did the hats a while ago,
a
long time ago.
That's my boy. Like, yes, it's like he's super cool. My boy Josh, super cool. My boy Clayton back here, very good friend of ours. He actually knows Nate. He might have even been the one. Now that I think about it, he might have even been the one that introduced Nate to my stuff, and then that's how I met Nate. And then when I met Nate, he knew, like I said, he knew Jasmine, which is the Fresh. And then he knew my other boy, Tommy J. I don't know if you know who Tommy J is. He works at Center. And I've actually known Tommy J since I was like 14 or 15 years old, which is crazy. And Tommy J is a serious OG when it comes to like anything streetwear. Like his name is Stussy Tom. Like let's not play with him. Like he gets stuff directly from Stussy. Like we work with crazy clientele from like Michael Crabtree to all kind of stuff. And yeah, so like I said, it's just the friends that I'm around. Like it's so easy for me to get like influenced and inspired, and I just want to give everybody their credit and their flowers, because I'm definitely not ever trying to make it seem like I came up with all this stuff on my own.
Yeah,
very much inspired and influenced by a lot of the people around me.
It's hard not to be inspired when you got so many people around you that are doing like
but it
big
took me
things.
so long to do the origin story. Like I'm 35 years old, believe it or not. And it took me till literally just last year to really do something, and I've had friends that have done stuff, I mean, in their early 20s to whenever. Like we got artist friends like Blue that do, that's done a Jordan collab and done all kinds of crazy amazing stuff. Done artwork for albums for TDE and just all kinds of amazing stuff, and just to see him and his art career and where he's gone. Jeremy Bigger's another good friend of his. I remember I met those guys. I mean, we all went to UTA and stuff like that. I met like Blue and all those. Actually, Blue is how I met the guys behind me. Oddly enough, he invited me to a party at UNT, and then I met like my best friends that are behind me now. They were like best friends to this day. Clayton I actually knew in high school too. But we always used to like check out each other's Jordans. We used to get all the Jordans and be like, "Yo, I like your Jordan. I like your J. Yeah, I like your J's too."
That's how it starts, though. If you're wearing a shirt, like, "Hey, I like your shirt." Oh, he's a like-minded individual. He fucks with it.
And then eventually, like, you see him randomly, and then you kind of have like that conversation, and then everything just kind of falls into place with that. So it's crazy to see how those little interactions can really turn into like lifelong friendships and stuff like that.
Like when you made those initial interactions, you wouldn't think like those would be the same opportunities that you have right now, right?
Yeah, like these guys are in my wedding, like coming up in October. So like,
nice.
Like these are like my brothers. Like I call them hermano. Like they're like some of my best friends and stuff like that. So it's just cool. It's just like I said, very inspiring. I'm very much inspired by like my friends, my family, and even like my brother. Like I don't know if you can see the painting right here. This is a beautiful painting by my brother Tommy Bronx.
Really nice.
Yeah,
really nice.
Like not even to hype my brother up, but my brother is an amazing artist. He's literally the only artist to have ever painted a mural on the actual physical walls of the Atlanta Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Like like people have like art like this, like on a canvas that's hung up. His art is actually like on the building structure. Like there's like a huge pillar, and he has like one side of artwork on one side, and he has another side of artwork on the other side. He's done murals from everybody from Google to Coca-Cola to the Roxy Theater to Microsoft.
What's your brother's name? Let him know.
Tommy Bronx is his name, but Tomas Betancourt, Tomas Betancourt. But his Instagram's name is Tommy Bronx, TOMMYBRONX. But amazing artist. He actually does all the merch. So the merch shirt that I have
he helped
on
you?
now,
Okay.
he does all. He did
Real
my logo. He does all the designs for the shirts. Like
the posters for the pop-up.
Huh?
The posters for the pop-up.
Yeah, he did everything.
That was really clean.
He does literally everything as far as the design aspect. Like him and I talk about things, and I know the little bit that I know of like Adobe Illustrator and stuff like that I've learned from him, but I haven't practiced enough to be diligent in it, and he knows that. But my brother, like I said, is an amazing artist. He can literally do any medium, from murals to paintings,
multi-level,
to like clothing design to digital art. He's done like everything from like corporations will hire him to do like if you were like at your job and you're doing like an HR like video like online or something, like he might be the person that does like the artwork for that, to crazy
everywhere.
Like, to just like
it's hard not to be inspired when you get all these great people around you.
Exactly, like literally in my family too. So it's just like I said, it's hard not to get inspired. It's hard not to say like, well, what is my talent, or what am I gonna do, or like how am I gonna?
But it's good though. It gets you thinking, and then if you hadn't done that, you wouldn't have done Origin Story.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is a good start though.
No, for sure.
Because I think it's much needed in the community.
Yeah.
So I think that's really good. One thing I wanted to ask you is, with Origin Store, what is your goal? Like, is it brick and mortar? Is it a full-on brand?
Honestly, I want to do something totally different. So I might eat these words later, so we can reference this back. I never want to do a brick and mortar, which sounds crazy. I would like to do it maybe like a personal shopping experience, like on some very low-key appointment-only type of deal.
Okay.
That would be like the only brick and mortar I think I would ever really do, which I already kind of do that now. But really I wanted to keep it web-based, and then when I don't have like online product, I really want to do pop-ups. So I really want to be more consistent with pop-ups, and then start doing pop-ups in different cities. Nice. Kind of like people like my boy Joe Freshgoods and stuff like that have really built up momentum where they can go to a different city and do a pop-up, and it's like
be recognized, right?
Yeah. So it might take a little while to get there, but
you'll get there.
Definitely want to start out and branch out from other places outside of just Dallas, and even just Texas in general, to New York or California and stuff like that, because we got friends in those places. So it's like
the market's there.
Yeah, so I know the market's there, and I know people would like those kind of events. So I just need to be brave enough and just figure it out and game plan it. And that's really my idea, to keep it between web store and then pop up. Like every time the web store is open, there's no pop up going on. Every time the pop up is going on, the web store is closed, to let the pop up thrive. and just kind of keep bouncing in between. And ideally, if I could ever grow it to this level, I would really like to do, I don't know if you've ever been to Dover Street Market, and the way that they have like their layouts for every single brand just has like such an amazing curated layout, whether they have like, I mean, I've seen stuff like where they have like
CDG,
literal
like their layout for CDG or Rick Owens may be like crazy.
And even like, I forget what brand it was. I can't remember. It might have been Brain Dead, where they had like, it was like something coming out of a wall, and just like it's just crazy, like the way that they think of stuff. It's just like, it's just so next level, and they very much will research the brand and make sure it's like on point for what the brand. Yeah, and that's what I would really like to do, is like where every brand kind of has like its own curated section, no matter where the pop-up moves to, where it like takes like a week or so to do the build out before we even do the pop-up. Like that's really ideally where I would like to go with it. Definitely think we got a little bit to get there. But
that's how it starts, though.
Yeah,
you have the vision. You have the
that's
vision.
The vision for
that's
sure.
What you need to begin with.
Vision. And I feel like no one's really done that. Like, I feel like people have done it here and there, and then they get like tied into like a major brand, and then they just
they
do their own
lose
thing.
like the creative responsibility.
Yeah, and then like they don't have to do that. Like, and I totally get that. Like, it's like they don't have to do it. Like the brand would just do it for them, and then like, I'm just doing this for this pop up.
Because the brand itself holds value, right, with the name alone. So you could just put like a name like Rick Owens, you can put in a blank warehouse, and it would fill out, right?
Thrive. Yeah. Promote it for like a day, and I'm sure it'd be everybody and their mama there.
But I mean, would you say that's the goal, to like just the name itself like push weight?
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I definitely want to, and I guess that's not my initial main focus, but definitely I definitely want just the origin, just to thrive. And we started initially with like, you know, very basic, simplistic designs, but I do have other designs that are more intricate designs and stuff like that I want to do that are kind of on brand with some of the brands. Ideally, my biggest wish and my biggest dream, St. Michael's, if you're out there, Denim Tears, if you're out there, I would love to do a collab. Yeah, I would love to do a collab.
Tremaine, he's watching.
Yeah, Tremaine, come on. Tremendous. No, I'm joking with that part. But I think they're gonna do a collab with me now. I'm totally joking, bro. I love you. But yeah, a brand like that, like or even something crazier like Capital or something like that, where if we could do like a collab of some sort, even if it was just like you could just come into the store with like the stuff that you have and do the pop up for that, whatever it would be, I would be open to it.
I think we need to bring that stuff to these markets, because they'll go to like New York and LA.
Yeah.
But I
think
they do. Bringing something like that to Dallas would be big.
Yeah.
And if you were behind that, like that's
that'd be dope. That'd be incredible. I'd be ridiculously honored. I probably would cry.
Because they do a lot of the Sashiko repair.
Yeah,
and I know we have some place in Dallas that does that, but imagine if Capital does that, and you can take a pair of jeans and they repurpose it. Like,
that'd be crazy.
Think about it. Like the vision is
that'd be
there.
Wild. Yeah. Like you buy product and then they have people just like in store to hand stitch some stuff. Like that'd be wild.
That's crazy. Yeah. I think Dallas needs like I talked to other designers, right? And they've always said like, do you see Dallas as like a big fashion hub?
Mm-hmm.
No, like
for me, yes and no. And the main reason I say no is not because the people aren't there. It's like the infrastructure one, and then the community too. I feel like the community in more recent years has been supportive, but I'll be honest, I think that was initially like one thing that shied me away from doing something like in Dallas. Was like there's a lot of haters, and like the haters are like your best friends, which is crazy. I've seen people that I know like talk trash about people that we both know, and I'm like, I thought you liked their stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of like, or trying to downplay maybe things that they've done because they haven't done maybe that. And I'm like, man, instead of giving someone their flowers and like maybe like the perspective I take of like being inspired by it, and even letting that person know like, bro, I'm inspired by the amazing thing, the amazing event that you put on. I think sometimes people in Dallas would be like, that shit, it was nothing. Like that was ordinary, or that was like whatever. I could have did it better. Yeah. Or like if I would have did it, I would have did this and that and the third. And it's like, well, why haven't you done it? And I feel like a lot of that goes on in Dallas. I feel like more recently it's been less of that, which I do appreciate and I do like. So that's what I'm looking forward to, is more of community in that aspect, like where people are really trying to help each other, as opposed to like trying to be crabs in a barrel and trying to fight so they can be the one on top. And I'm like, man, it doesn't matter who goes on top and has the notoriety. Like if we have somebody from the city that's really doing something amazing, that just brings more traction and more views, more eyes, more everything for everyone. So I'm like, whether that's you, whether that's me, whether it's another store, another brand, whatever it is, like build that person up. And especially if you genuinely like it. I get it if you don't genuinely like it. Just keep your mouth shut. You don't have to say anything. You have nothing, you know the saying, you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. So I think that's definitely the perspective I say. Like if I didn't like something, I'm not going to be trashing it or bashing it with my friends or bashing it online. You know, I won't say anything. I won't say that I like it either. But if I do like it, even if it's only a little bit, I'm definitely trying to hype it up.
Show
and
support.
I'm trying to show support, show love, and any way, whether that's a repost, whether that's buying something. I think sometimes people confuse that too. Like, you always think you got to physically buy something. Man, it could be a repost.
A like is free.
Yeah, a like. It could be you sharing it with a friend that might go and support the event
Support
or whatever.
Support is free, really.
Exactly. So
that's crazy,
like
because I mean, we talk to a lot of people, right? We interview a lot of people from Dallas. Like I said, it's a platform to showcase people that are killing it, right?
Yeah.
And we always hear the same thing. It's like whoever you speak to, whether it be like someone with a food pop-up, someone designing clothes, someone making music, someone directing videos, they're going to say the exact same thing. Yeah. And like, we were like, dang, that's like really heartbreaking to hear, you know, like the own city that you live in, when you're like a content creator and you hear that, right? Yeah. So like, that's why we want to bridge the gap between like people and like other creators, like whether it be like a pop-up like yours or someone selling something else, right? Yeah. We want to be like that platform. We want to be the opposite of what people are saying, like, oh, Dallas doesn't show love, but you know, there's this platform called Up to Something, and they have all these interviews, like showcasing, giving people their flowers because they're from the city and that's what they want to do. Yeah. So I understand where you're coming from. I wouldn't like to think about it that way because.
No, I think it's changing though. Don't get me wrong. I think it's changing. I think it's slowly changing. Like
and that's what I like to see.
People are acknowledging it and doing something about it. And I think there's enough level-headed, like-minded people now where it's like they understand like lifting and uplifting people is not going to hurt you and hurt your brand. If anything, it's always going to help. It's going to build your network. It's going to build that community. It's going to build that infrastructure that, you know, you're just networking, and like you never know. You never know who knows what. Likes what, like, exactly. You never know how it plays out. Like I said, I'm pretty sure, like, I know one person that introduced me to one person, but it could have been someone else. You know, you never know what. And those it's not planned out.
It's not like I'm gonna go meet this person so they can put me in contact. Exactly. Like that's kind of shady, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's never with the intent of like, I'm gonna be cool with this person because I know they got something going on. It's like I just genuinely like this person. Like they're a good guy. Yeah. And a lot of the times I've been around the block. Long story short, and I won't even go into it too far. I worked at the first ever streetwear store in Dallas called Attic Footwear. Anybody knows me, might even know me as my old
Mockingbird Station.
Yeah, Mockingbird Station. Might know me as my old Instagram name, Attic Dave. So that's like very much back in the day when we were doing pop-ups with like Spitta and doing pop-ups with Dom Kennedy and doing pop-ups with like Smoke Dizza and stuff like that.
Blog era,
like mixtape era, like 2006, 2007 we're talking about. So like literally like fresh out of high school for me. So yeah, like I've definitely been around and been around on the scene, and that's why I feel like a lot of people and just naturally just had those friendships, just like we've met and just been to an event, or we just like met through some other friends through whatever, and then naturally they just progress and just done amazing things on their own, and it's just dope to see, because it's like I've been knowing this guy, so I love that he's doing something, and then too I love that he's doing something that I genuinely like, because it's always dope to be able to support a friend that you genuinely like what they do, and I like a lot of the stuff that my friends do. I'm not, and I think all my friends will know, and my friend Josh will tell you behind me. If I don't like something, I will tell you. Especially like if you're my actual friend, if you're asking about like your design and it's only me and you, I'll be like, nah, bro, I don't like that. That ain't it.
It's trash.
And, yeah, I don't want to say it's trash per se, but I'll be like, that ain't my favorite. Let's look at this one. This one's my favorite. You know, and I'll be honest
Build them
with
up.
them. Yeah, and just give them like constructive criticism if I could see maybe something that I could think of a change or something like that. I don't just try to be like, hey, that's trash. I'm like, well, you got a suggestion? No, I ain't got no suggestion, bro. That's just, I don't like that.
That's just hating.
Yeah,
like if you just like, that's trash.
Yeah, yeah.
And like you just give no suggestion on what they could do better.
I definitely try to like give the suggestion of, hey, maybe try this or try that and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah, man, you know a lot of people, huh?
Yeah, definitely know a lot of people. Blessed to know a lot of people. Man, like I said, I've known people as early as like on the scene, I guess, is whatever you want to call it. Like it's my boy Tommy J. Like I met him like literally I was 15. Go back even further than Addict. I was working at a store called Harold Peener. Like only people from Dallas might know this if he was at Redbird Mall. And you remember we had Harold Peener right across from Foot Locker, and that's what Harold Peener had like everything from Stacey Adams to like Jordans, and this was like when they had like the lifestyle Jordans. So they used to have all the clothes and stuff like that come up with the Jordans. So they used to make you do stuff like I know my OG sneakerheads are gonna remember like you have to buy clothes so that you could buy the shoes. So like Harold Peener was one of those places where
you have to buy from the Jordan brand.
You had to buy like the clothes so that you could also buy the shoes. And
you had to buy all the whack Jordans so you could get the retros down the road.
So you could get exactly. Yeah. So you were kind of building up that clientele. So that was my first real introduction to like retail and like brands that I like genuinely already liked that I got to like get my hands on and stuff like that. And I was working with my boy Tommy J back in the day, and I was 15 years old, and he was obviously a little bit older than me, but yeah. So like I said, just like naturally through time, whether it was college, whether it was like I said, like my boy Blue introducing me to the guys behind me, like at a random UNT, like just a college party, to just, you know, hanging out with my buddies, and they introduced me to someone that just walks in the door like, hey, this is my buddy doing whatever, he does whatever. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Networking is so easy.
Yeah, network is crazy, and it's just like you said, like it's never with the intention of like, oh, I'm gonna get to know this person because I know they know cool people. It's just like they're just cool people.
Yeah,
like I just like genuinely like them, and they genuinely like me.
Yeah. And now I know you don't do like the purposeful like networking, but is there someone that you would like to get in contact with because you feel like they would be inspiring, or maybe like maybe they have connects with like a big brand, or just in general to get in touch like with whatever product that they have?
Man, I'm just, if we're being honest, just like directly with like the Capital Store, holla at me, Capital. let's do something crazy. Let's do a pop-up, or like, you know, I just want to do something different. And I feel like we're at the age now, and like I feel like Virgil really set it up very well for people to think like, no one thought Virgil could be the head of a major house like Louis, right? Until he did it, right? So I think like now when you see people like, whether it's Kid Super, you see Pharrell, like whether you see Future doing stuff with Lanvin, like you see people that you wouldn't normally see do stuff. So I'm like, you never saw a resale store hook up with the retail store to do something crazy. Let's do it. Let's do it. Like whether it's Denim Tears, whether it's St. Michael, whether it's St. Tears, let's do a collab with both of y'all. That'd be awesome. Whether it's like I said, RR123 or Mason Mahari or Shiro, like I think people think like MMY is a new brand. It's not a new brand. It's been around for quite some time.
It's well rooted.
Like, yeah, he's been doing his thing for a while. We're just starting to catch on in America. Like doing something like that where they have like a US pop up and like add me to it in whatever shape, way, or form. I'd be happy to be a part of it. That'd be like my ultimate like dream goal of something that I could do with like one of the brands that I actually carry, like wants to do something with me, and I'd be like, whether it be like the smallest thing or the biggest thing, I think I'd be floored.
It's gonna happen, man. Yeah. Don't worry, man. It's gonna happen.
I hope so.
Speaking into fruition, man.
Yeah.
Manifested. I think you brought up a real good point with like what Virgil said, and I think because I was inspired by him because
no one I think can sit here and be like they weren't inspired by him, and like the whole Donda team, whether it's Kanye, whether it's Don C,
the whole Donda camp,
whether it's Ivan Jasper. Mm-hmm. Whether it's
Matthew Williams,
Taz Arnold, Matthew Williams, yes, Matthew Henson, anybody. Like, there's so many of them out there.
He simply just like the simplest thing that he could have said is, "You can do it too."
Yeah, he meant it.
Yeah, he literally meant it. Like,
yeah,
it was like it's so easy. Like, if he can do it, like he's like the head. Like you'd ever thought that like Virgil would be the head of Louis Vuitton, even Pharrell.
Yeah,
like that's crazy. Like you grew up like admiring like Kanye and Pharrell, like fashion wise, and now like they're head of like whenever the two worlds were very separate, like streetwear and high fashion,
they were very separate.
But now if you look at high fashion right now, it's streetwear.
You can't even tell the difference.
No, it's streetwear. Streetwear is high fashion. High fashion is streetwear.
100%.
So like you just think of like the people that put these brands on that pedestal. Like it started with like you said, like BBC, Ice Cream, Supreme, Bape. Like these are brands that like, if you know their origin story, it started with like a simple T-shirt.
Yeah,
like
100%.
It just started on a simple T-shirt, and that is like a domino effect. And now they're making like $1,000 like leather goods and things that are like trunks. Yeah. Like when Supreme did Louis Vuitton, like that was crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy. I don't think anybody thought that was gonna happen. That's kind of like when Virgil did the Air Forces. I think when people like heard about it
the
at
Nike,
first, no one never thought that was gonna happen.
No,
because everybody was like, nah, this is gonna look too much like fake Canal Street type of stuff. Like high fashion people are not gonna buy into it. Are you kidding me? Like look at the resale prices.
From cease and desist,
to
an actual collab.
Exactly,
like it's crazy. Like it's just crazy. Like, and that just like, really puts it into perspective. Like they're just like you and I, right? Like some kids in a dorm room, right? That's where they started. They had a vision. Exactly. They started off regular. They didn't go to like Pharrell said it. Like he didn't go to a fashion school. Yeah. And he's the creative director. You know how many kids have to go to a fashion school?
They're like killing for that.
Future is like oh my god.
He's doing stuff with Lanvin. Like, and people are getting put in those positions. I think because people are starting to realize like you don't have to necessarily have like the formal training to do something. Is it helpful? Yes, I'm sure it is helpful. I'm not gonna say
it gets you in there.
Yeah, and it's gonna help you. I think especially when you're doing like full on collections, and especially like when you do like men's and women's wear, especially like as a man, you might not know really what women's wear is and what the cuts and the fits and everything, how it should look, and how to really cohesively put like a whole collection together where it looks like it makes like how an artist might put an album together. Like I don't know if they might know initially like how do I put a whole collection together of clothing that makes sense and doesn't look like it's too out there or just so basic that it's like anybody could do this.
Yeah, man, it's just crazy. And then it's really inspiring. And then it's even more inspiring because these conversations that we're having, like this is how it's gonna start. Like I'm gonna leave the room like really inspired.
Oh man,
because you I mean you have a really inspiring story. Like we just talked about. Like it's just division. Really, that's all you need. Yeah. And like it's gonna start small, but like you don't know where you're gonna be in next year, in 10 years.
I would say the very first thing for me that helps me above all, I'll put Jesus Christ first in my heart. Like
good.
That's above all. That's the go-to ticket for me. There's no magic sprinkle. Don't get me wrong, and I'm not saying to anyone that if you pray and you ask for it that it's gonna happen. I don't think necessarily it always just works like that. I think it's a lot of collaboration between you and Jesus and what you've asked for, and really putting forth the work and the effort to really bring to fruition what you want. I know a lot of people like you said earlier, like manifestation. I really feel like that's really more so like you pray on something and then you work for it and then it happens. But I don't think it initially happens first if Jesus doesn't want it for you first. And I think he knows essentially what's best for you.
A learning experience.
Yeah, he's always gonna it's gonna be a learning experience or it's gonna happen and it's gonna be great, or maybe you don't and you fall and you bump your head, but then like you said, it's a learning experience and you learn like how do I get better from this and how do I get to that end goal that I want to get to. So I would say that's honestly the biggest thing for me first and foremost. Definitely keep him first in my life, and outside of that, everything else just falls into place. I pray about everything. Even like this podcast before I literally prayed about this with my fiance, like just that it went well and stuff like that, and our interactions went well. I'm heavy really on prayer. I pray every single day. I try to read my Bible every single day. I try to stay planted in my community. I was serving at church earlier today on the audio team, oddly enough. So I was doing like front of house or
not your first broadcast. Time on the mic then today.
Yeah, not my first time on the mic. Yeah, not today. Yeah, per se. But so. Again, I think it's just important to not only go to church, but be planted in community and stuff like that. Because I think it's very easy. People think like, oh, I just go to church Sunday, I get filled up with the word, and I'm good. And I think like you're cheating yourself. Like life with Jesus is a ever long road. It's a everyday thing. It's a every moment thing. It's a every second of your life thing. It's never like let me just check on this and then I check on it later and it's good. It's like
consistency with everything,
exactly,
and especially with
faith. Exactly. So that's my biggest thing. That's that one thing that I could tell anybody. That's if anyone thinks I'm successful or anything that I'm doing well, that's why. That's and it ain't me, it's him.
That's good, and I really respect that. It's really, really inspiring again. Yeah. So I think that's a good point to just end the episode there because. That's all you can say, right?
I can't say nothing better than that. That was the best
that
part
was a good way to end the episode. So I just
sure.
really, again, not only thank you for like allowing me to come here and into your home and like record a podcast and showcase like the product that you have, but like just the conversation in general. I think the conversation is worth a lot. I don't do it for like views or for monetary, on social media platforms. I think just being able to meet people, is a reward in itself.
No,
and
for sure.
I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know you personally until today, but really respectful. Like the views that you have and you speak about faith, and it's really I never really get to come across people like that. So I appreciate it, man.
Appreciate it, man.
And thank you for coming on the platform again.
No, thank you for having me. Thank you so much. And I think, like you mentioned, I don't think you do that with the intention. I can feel that in your heart that you never do it with the intention of views or to monetize yourself or anything like that. But I feel your intentions. I appreciate it. Your intentions are very genuine. It's a pleasure having you here. You're more than welcome back anytime you want to come.
I appreciate it.
Would love to see you at the pop-up.
I will be there. Like I said,
pop-up hopefully will be July 22nd, 23rd. I hope I don't got to eat these words later and change up the date on y'all.
You said it on camera now. It's got to be these dates now.
I know it's like a month from now. So I think we can get it done. I just want to. I think like any business owner, you want everything to be right. Everything's not ever going to be 100%.
But there's things that come and go. Yeah. Okay. So.
But again, just want to say thank you, man, and I appreciate you, brother. And just thank you, man. Appreciate it again, bro.
Up to Something Media, Origin Store.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.